In this case study, I'm going to show you how a San Jose homeowner was able to renovate a property prior to resale for a whopping 277% return on the investment. If you've heard that you can't really make any money doing significant pre-sale renovations to your home before you sell it in Silicon Valley, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention. Look, I am somebody who is constantly telling people that by and large, when you spend money renovating your home prior to putting it on the market, you do not see a good return on investment. And I have really great reasons for saying that, because I have seen so many times where sellers will overspend getting their homes ready for sale, and they just do not see a positive return on that investment. And it's not just me. There are many studies that show that it is very difficult for most people to make any additional money when they make these pre-sale renovations, and actually in most cases they end up losing a lot of money. I would point your attention to the NAR Remodeling Impact Report, which is published, I believe, every couple of years, and the Journal of Light Construction's famous Cost versus Value report, which is done every year. And both of these reports show that for most pre-sale renovation work, a homeowner is likely to lose money when they go to sell their homes. But that is really just an average. So the average homeowner making these pre-sale renovations will in fact lose money. But that doesn't mean that for some people, it is in fact possible to make smart renovations prior to putting their home up on the market, and in fact to make a very healthy positive return, as did this home seller in this case study. Now, this home I estimated was worth about $900,000 before any pre-sale renovations. This homeowner put in a total of about $102,000 prior to putting the home on the market, and at the end of the sale process, he closed escrow at $1,285,000, which I figure means that he got a return on that $102,000 investment of 277%, which is a heck of a lot better than losing 25% on that investment, which is very common in Silicon Valley. Now, the reason why this homeowner was able to do so well with that $102,000 investment was because the neighborhood supported a much higher price than the typical sale price for homes in that condition. So before I go any further, I want to take you on a little tour of the house. So these are the photos of what the house looked like before it was renovated. And as you can see, the house is pretty tired looking. The seller had used it as a rental for some 35 years and hadn't really done much to it. So the house was very worn out. All of the surfaces were quite old and in need of renovation. There was not as much value in them as a buyer would pay for. So it made sense to do a thorough renovation for this property. And now you can see what their home looked like after all that renovation work had been done. Clean, bright, fresh, modern. It looked and felt new. And in fact, it was almost completely new. At least almost all of the surfaces were new. Now, it was not a gut level remodel. They did not replace all the wiring or all the plumbing, and they didn't actually even replace most of the drywall, and the framing was intact, and obviously did not redo the foundation. But most of the rest of the home was in fact completely renovated, with the notable exception also of the furnace. The furnace was a very old original furnace, and all that ducting was original as well. But when you stepped into the home, it felt as if it were a brand new home, and certainly looked that way. All the buyers saw an incredible amount of value there, and they were all very excited to get their offers in. Hey, before I go any further, would you do me a favor? Would you mash that subscribe button right there and subscribe to my YouTube channel? And don't forget, click that little bell to make sure that you get a notification every time I put up a brand new fun, fact-filled video, kind of like this one. While many homes in the neighborhood were selling at $900,000, $1 million, or maybe $1.1 million, there were a few outliers that were in fact fetching prices considerably higher than that. So it was a good indication that it would be possible, with the right improvements made to the property, that the sale price could be considerably higher than the cost of those improvements. The seller was really wanting to get the property on the market to take advantage of the spring market. Now, using this unlicensed handyman, he was able to turn the project around in an amazing 6 weeks. I would have thought it would have taken at least 8 to 12 weeks, but he managed to turn the property over very, very quickly and get the property on right at prime time in spring, because spring typically has the very highest sale prices of the year. Not every year, but commonly you will find the highest price per square foot in any area recorded during those spring months. Now, this particular spring was an exciting time to be on the market because we had the historic stock market crash of 2025. Now, the market went up and down. It was very volatile and people were getting freaked out, and it definitely did freak out some of the buyers who were competing for this property. And I do believe that it ultimately impacted the amount of money the seller was able to get for the property. But nevertheless, he did get a very excellent price for the property, and he got that price very, very quickly. In fact, I used what I like to call my 2-day sale strategy. We did have the home on the market on the multiple listing service longer than 2 days. We put it up on the multiple listing service, I believe, on a Wednesday. We didn't allow any showings on Thursday or Friday, even though the home was vacant, because I wanted to get as many people into the house at the same time to create excitement among the buyers. I wanted to create a sense of urgency in the buyers that, hey, wow, this is a really popular listing, and if you want to get an offer in, you must get an offer in right away. And that is exactly what happened. Over the course of those 2 days, we had 30 to 35 people come through each day of the weekend. And by Monday or Tuesday, we had a half a dozen offers. The seller accepted an offer which was 28.5% over list price, and of course was completely non-contingent. There was no loan contingency, no appraisal contingency, and no inspection contingency. Because, of course, there wasn't much to inspect, the seller did the pre-sale inspections, got a home inspection and a termite inspection, had literally all the receipts for all the work that was done, had an exhaustive list of what improvements had been made to the property. So there really wasn't very much at all to investigate. And in fact, all the offers that we got were non-contingent, even though everyone who made an offer was in fact getting a loan. That's because in Silicon Valley, that's just the culture. It is so competitive for the most desirable properties that buyers will write offers that are completely non-contingent and oftentimes way, way over list price. Now, when it comes to list price, it's really important not to think about a price, but rather a pricing strategy that is going to get you the highest price that market has to bear at the time the property is put on the market. Now, I suggested that the seller list the property at $1 million. And yes, the seller expected it to sell quite a bit more than that, and I expected it to sell quite a bit more than that. But what is so amazing about a $1 million list price? What is amazing about that is that $1 million is a major price break. It is important to understand that buyers, they search in ranges of prices. So they will search from, say, $0 to $1 million or $1 million and less. That is very, very common. What's also very, very common is that buyers will search between 1 million and 1.5 million because they know that anything less than $1 million is just total garbage, and so there's no point in really seeing that. So what's in common there? $1 million, that is a bridge point, right? So it's either the highest end of a buyer's search or the lowest end of the buyer's search. And by pricing it on an even number like $1 million, you get buyers who are searching both above and below $1 million. If you had priced it at $995, yes, you would have found everyone searching from $0 to $1 million, but you would have missed everyone who starts their search at $1 million and above. And so by using strategic pricing, using a price point that I know that many, many buyers are beginning or ending their search, we were able to make sure that we got many buyers through the property. Now, obviously, we could have priced it at $1.1 million or $1.2 million, certainly, because that also is a bridge point where a buyer might begin or end their search. But by setting it on a bigger price point and at a lower price rather than a higher price, we were able to ensure that we got every single buyer who was looking for a property in that neighborhood to come and check the property out quickly. Now, we also did not set an offer review date. And what does that do? That also creates urgency in the buyer. They know they can't wait. If they know that a seller is ready, willing, and excited to accept the right offer at the right time, buyers will not wait to get their offers in. And I always tell my clients, what is really the biggest determinant in how much you're going to be able to sell your home for is not the list price, but it's the quantity of offers. So you really want to make sure that you get as many offers as possible from credible buyers in as short a time period as you can to create that direct competition between buyers to drive the price up to the highest price the market will bear. Of course, the highest price the market will bear only comes around through negotiation. So it is important to understand that this was a negotiated sale price. While we did have half a dozen offers and could have got maybe some more, I knew that no really strong offers were coming that could compete with some of the top contenders. And once we had that set of top contenders from those 6, and always it's just like 2 or 3 are going to be the best offers no matter how many offers you get, I was able to work those buyers against each other to extract the best combination of price and terms for the sale of the property. So the seller was very happy. He got a really great result for the sale of his house, didn't spend a lot of time with the property on market, didn't waste any money in staging, because had he staged the house, he would have gotten exactly $0 more than he got, but would have been out thousands of dollars in the cost of staging. The seller was very thrilled with the result, and I know that anyone who uses a similar strategy would also be very happy with the result as well. Listen, if you have a house in San Jose, whether it needs any work or maybe it's in mint condition today, you want to make sure that you are using the right strategy for your house, your neighborhood, and the market at the time you put it up for sale. And knowing what pre-sale renovations to do, that is really crucial if you want to get the absolute best return on any investment you make and get the very most cash at closing. Listen, my phone number is right here at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead, give me a call or shoot me a text message. Love to talk to you, find out what your situation is, and how I can help you make your next move the best one yet. All right, well, that is all I have for this video. Thank you so very much for watching. And if you enjoyed watching this video, I'm guessing, just a guess, that you might also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do take a look. All right, that's all I have for this one. Thanks so very much for watching, and please stay tuned.